Welcome to the History of Calculus 101. Today, I'll be talking about how calculus began all the way to the present day. Okay, now before we begin, I'd like to talk about a small review of what calculus is, just to make sure. Calculus is mainly called infinitesimal calculus that has its focus on limits, integrals, infinite series, and continuity. And the people who made it happen was these two guys, Isaac Newton and Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz. They both lived in the same time frame in the Enlightenment era and knew each other because they both are mathematicians with the same, but not identical, ideas that they share with one another. Now, their discovery wouldn't make an impact until they die afterwards. And the Enlightenment era through 17th to 18th century, also called the Age of Reason, people moved towards new ideas, questioning, giving way to openness, and improving society as we know it. For a closer look on how Isaac and Leibniz invented calculus, I'll start with Newton on the subject here. Let's not get confused between Isaac Newton and Fig Newtons, because a Fig Newtons from a grocery store never calculates math, nor would Isaac taste like a fig, so yeah. To most people, everyone knows about Newton because of his 3 laws of gravity. He built it off from Kepler's law, made in 1604, and most of Newton's scientific activities is based on the study of optics, in which he studied and analyzed the wavelengths of light with the colors of the rainbow. When trying to find new ways of analyzing light, he invented a reflecting telescope to observe the electromagnetic spectrum of short and long wavelengths regions for a better observation of light, and eventually the telescope alone made his job a lot easier studying the stars in their orbits. In 1679, Isaac had help from Hooke, who had a better understanding of planetary motion than Isaac. Planetary motion is mainly the observation of the elliptical orbit around a star or a planet. However, Hooke was also there to plagiarize Isaac's work. After this, Isaac started to be distressed about his work being plagiarized by others and never announced his calculus concepts publicly. It was when he died in a decade or two his work became public. So this is the reflection of the telescope. This is also telescope for planetary observation. What is there in places almost empty of matter, and whence it is that the sun and planets gravitate towards one another without dense matter between them? That's just a quote. Okay. For our next mathematician is Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz. He was an inventor like Isaac Newton was, but he did get much credit for his calculus, with mostly his logistics. He did invent the very first calculator in the year 1671, which was a major advancement for most, if not all, mathematicians. He invented a branch of calculus called integral calculus, which displays the total value or size, for example, the lengths, areas, and or volumes of an object. This is also connected to the fundamental theorem of calculus, such as the function whose rate of change / derivative are equal to the integrated function. In the principle of identity of indiscriminables, however you say that, is very controversial. The identity of comparing two things with one another being identical with each other, therefore having the exact properties. The two things can only be identical only when, hold on a sec, when their combinations are exactly the same with each other. This is also called the Leibniz law. The principle of continuity of what Leibniz described is it as nothing takes place suddenly, and it is one of my great and best confirmed maxims that nature never makes leaps. To put it bluntly, whatever change that passes through an intermediate change, and with it is an actual infinity in things. Okay, so this is like his very first calculator. It's a calculator machine, I would say. And this is the sources. If you want to pause the video, go ahead. Just to look at the sources and enjoy me. And thank you for watching this video.